A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... he landed in the Divine Dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
The chase for the Nathan Reynolds Cup, round number 4 of the chase here in season number 9, and this is going to be the first and last time I ever say this. Welcome to Echo Park Speedway. Yeehaw. It's Tommy Cook, it's Matt Williamson alongside. Sorry, we're running a little bit behind. Stream was not cooperating, but we're here. Matt, welcome in to Atlanta, and let's take a look at the point standings as things are winding down this season, but heating up just the same.
Oh, yeah, we only got a couple more left, including tonight, and the points certainly are heating up as we are making our way towards the finale here. After 3 of our 5 rounds here in the chase for the Nathan Reynolds Cup, Matt Schlosser, your regular season champion, he is atop the point standings. John Kay sits there only 10 points behind, and Luke Peterson only 12 points behind the leader. Those 3 are incredibly close. Hayden Palumbo, Chad Stern still hanging in there, 22 and 24 points behind. And Brody Gunter, after the big win last week, is still trying to fight his way through, but it's looking rough at the moment. He's going to need some big luck here tonight. Josh Monachek, Zach Lockett, Andy Poliski round out your top 9, and Josh Freed, who has not started a race here in the chase, he is already out of it, is not going to be able to win the championship this season.
But he is here in the lineup tonight as our 24 drivers that are ready to go here tonight for 165 miles. It's the Pet Cemetery 165, very ominous title, and I'm sure there will be a lot of tombstones by the end of this one here at the new version of Atlanta Motor Speedway. Matt Schlosser on pole for the third time this season with Hayden Palumbo lining up to his outside. It's Brantley Gainey, a previous winner here at Atlanta back in Season 5, starting in third. Luke Peterson, runner-up last week, P4 on the starting grid here tonight. Zach Lockett, Garrett Rainey on row number 3, Jan Van Leer, and Brody Gunter, last week's winner, 2 times a winner in the chase, starting in 8th. Kyle Zittel and Paul Ellison, teammates there on row number 10. John Kay starting back in the 13th position will be one to keep an eye on. Matt, we'll let the rest of the starting grid go by. But quickly, our weather notes and what we've got ahead of us here tonight.
Yeah, we will take a look at the weather real quick. 105 degrees is the track temperature. Pretty warm for the track here tonight. The tires do come into play here at this version of Atlanta still, albeit a little bit differently, so that'll be something to watch for. 110 laps around Atlanta Motor Speedway here tonight. Pit window's about 55 laps, 3 extra sets of tires. No fast repair is going to be a biggie. We average 6 cautions and 28 lead changes here per race. A couple of winners here in the past. Brantley Gainey won in Season 5, and Steve Roman won in Season 7.
Roman starting back in 11th. We mentioned Brantley Gainey inside the top 5 on the inside of row number 2. Matt Schlosser, Hayden Palumbo, whose fortunes are going to change ahead of the season finale next week here after 110 laps tonight. We're underway at Atlanta. You mentioned a hot, slick track surface. And this track, although it is new, it's got that pavement compound that has accelerated its aging. It's already pretty low grip. And with how close you are to the drivers all around you, aero sensitivity coming into play, I mean, these trucks are a handful here, and you're going to see it start to crop up pretty quickly for the drivers that are stuck back in the pack. Should clarify here as well, as lap number 1 goes to Hayden Palumbo around the outside. The apron in the tri-oval is fair game. If you cause an accident down there, however, there will be post-race repercussions. But passing in the apron under that red and white line is okay, according to race control. Peterson pushes Palumbo past Matt Schlosser, and driver 54 now firmly in control of both lines if he so chooses.
Peterson gonna get a nose to the door of Palumbo here, though. Loses a little bit of ground there on entry, but what I have found is I typically prefer to run this second lane at least for a little while. It seems like as long as you have a good line of drivers behind you, you can really use that momentum to inch your way forward. The problem is once those tires start to go, it is very easy to get up into the wall. These trucks, they get tight and then all of a sudden they get loose. I mean, it's if you have watched a real-life Atlanta broadcast here in the last couple of years, you know that they talk about handling quite a bit, even though it is kind of a super speedway. That is the case here tonight as well. There's not going to be anybody coming down pit road and not taking tires, and if you do, you're probably going to find yourself in trouble.
And the other thing that is new for this version of Atlanta Motor Speedway, not only the lights around the track, but also, as I hope John Kay didn't just lag out of this race. I think he's back now. We're okay.
Yeah, he's blinked a couple times.
With down the back straightaway and into turn number 3, you can see it there down low. There is the new pit road entry. You don't have to be at speed at that line, unlike in real life, but you do have to be underneath that during green and yellow pit stops. And I would say the only reason that we haven't had green flag pit stops here in the past is because people have been trying to pit off of turn number 4. That's usually where we see the accident if we don't have one during the green flag run itself. So green flag pit stops could very well be in play. You and I both know taking only one set or the other, one side or the other of tires here is a recipe to explode and die. And join those in the pet cemetery.
Yeah, it does not work. You have to take all 4 tires. I mean, that's... I know that they call it kind of a super speedway, but your Daytona and Talladega, you don't even have to take tires at all, really, for at least probably 2 or 3 rounds of pit stops. Here, that is not going to be the case. So a little bit of added pressure to a super speedway race, as if there wasn't enough already. There's that added pressure of having to make your pit stops count for everything, because you do have to take tires. It just takes up that little bit of extra time, and if you make a mistake, it can exacerbate that. So you have to be on it here at Atlanta, and if you're not, we have seen the field get pretty strung out on green flag pit stops here before. So if we do get a couple rounds in, I wouldn't be surprised to see that here tonight as well.
I want to point out before we go any further, we had a couple of penalties for the start of this race. Gary Clark got an EOL, as did Tyler Burgert, and a pass-through penalty was awarded to Brian Mitchell. That he is the only driver not attached to the lead pack currently of the 24 that have started the race. All the other 23 are all right up here attached to the draft of Hayden Palumbo and company behind him. Palumbo, Peterson, Schlosser, Rainey, and Gainey, the top 5 as they run, coming to put double digits on the board this time. Sun peeking through there in turn number 3.
Yeah, Sun is coming out. Oh, and I thought Gunter was going to stay on the top side there, just trying to get a little clean air. But the other thing that happens there is if you're on the outside trying to go through that quad oval, it is very easy to find yourself up towards the wall as Freed is up in the wall off of turn 2.
He hit off of it hard a couple of times, went off the front bumper of Cole Maxwell one of those times as well. Great stuff by the Kyle Larson's Hard Caviar, number 69, to not dump Josh Freed right in front of the rest of the field as Pascal Samard got awfully close to Tyler Logan there as well.
And that's the tires starting to come into play. We're only 10 laps into this run, but tires already starting to become a factor here at Atlanta.
It's so weird. It's such a... You feel so weightless at times. This car can just as easily shoot up the track straight into the wall from the bottom as it can just completely come out from underneath of you. I mean, this is really an enigma of a track, and the truck doesn't handle very well. But it handles a lot better for Hayden Palumbo since he is up at the front of this field. It is total team control right now, with Palumbo leading the bottom and teammates Peterson, Rainey, and Gunter, and Kyle Zittel as well, as there goes Cole Maxwell up into the wall now, all leading the top line. And Paul Ellison and John Kay also up there. Hello to everybody that's hanging out in the chat. Of course, the Modachecks, Bailey, Robin, Data Check, hello. Lisa Kelly cheering on Tyler Burgert. Amy Ellison, congratulations, cheering on Paul.
And you see Modachek and Ellison here very close together. Everybody's playing it smart right now. They're leaving plenty of room there. You can see that they are all struggling a little bit with some handling. The first 10 laps, nobody was really getting too high on the racetrack, and now you're seeing this top line really start to wiggle up towards the wall through basically any part of the track here, on corner entry, corner exit, through the quad oval. You really don't have a moment to rest like you normally would at your traditional Talladega or Daytona. So this is a different beast altogether.
It's a deep cut for any of the some of our historian NASCAR fans. It's the Langhorne of super speedways.
Looks like John Kay has cut off his car inside camera, trying to make sure that he has all the juice possible so he doesn't blink out and get disconnected from this race. It seems like he's been going pretty good so far for the last 10 laps or so. So hopefully that has conserved some resources and he's got it all figured out.
Wonder if he's got some weather going on, because John Kay is not a blinker. I cannot think of a time in the past where he's had connection issues before. Very odd. At least he is on top of it, seemingly.
Yeah, his eyes are normally wide open at all times.
Well, there's got to be some nervous drivers, speaking of having your head on a swivel, up at the front of this field. All the chase drivers up here gunning for it. Palumbo and Peterson side by side for the lead. Schlosser with a 10-point margin coming into tonight. Brody Gunter up towards the top 5 here as well. And John Kay kind of stuck with no possible escape route if it all goes wrong in front of him.
Yeah, most certainly. I think if you're Peterson and Schlosser, you're feeling decent. I think if you're in those first 2 rows, you feel like you're in a pretty good spot. I think anybody that's outside of those first 2 rows, you're going to have an uneasy feeling, especially if you're on the bottom, because you are truly stuck. I mean, there is absolutely nowhere to go. You're getting pinched from the middle line, and you cannot get on the apron really at all here. There's just not much room to operate. It's a bad feeling being stuck there on the bottom, but I think a lot of this is just ultra patience. You have to know that you can't get crazy, especially this early. You just have to kind of let things come to you and let the chips fall where they may, especially if you're Schlosser with a 10-point lead right now. Don't want to do anything to lose too many points here tonight. I mean, if that means running, second, third row on the bottom and not really trying to win the race, I think that's a fine strategy as any here tonight.
Tyler Logan must have had some kind of power outage or power service interruption, because he was running in line down the back straightaway, and all of a sudden he was gone out of the session. Either that or he Alt F4'd, I guess. But either way, he is no longer in this race. So that brings it down to 22 in the lead pack. 23 left on the track as Tyler Logan now is reconnected to the session. So had some kind of hardware issue. Top line getting a little more jagged here. I think even with some nice shade over the track, it's still the handling issues are coming into play now for these drivers that have been up here the whole race.
Yeah, quick peek at the weather. We're at 101. So we're down a little bit.
Oh, Jan Van Leer split in the middle, 3 wide. Trying to root Brody Gunter off the positioning there on the top side. Gunter just with a little kiss of the wall there.
And he had an opportunity to just pull in behind Rainey, and he has to do it there, but he didn't want to.
No, I don't think so. So Jan not content to ride.
Yeah, he wanted to try and force the issue there. And I mean, those are the types of moves you have to make. You see him absolutely attached to the 13 of Rainey here.
Schlosser was looking really free on entry there. And he's been riding just on the bottom here this whole time. 1 row back. Sun is now out in 1 and 2. Fully bathed in sunlight. As Allie Hill says, it's completely sunny there. John Kay going to make a move on Paul Ellison. And Kay is 1 further up the outside line now.
I think this is the time where you have to start trying to plan and make your moves. I mean, there is something to be said about maybe a little bit of tire save here at this racetrack. If John has just been kind of riding and saving a little bit, I mean, we're 25 laps into this run. Tires are starting to fade a little bit. I mean, this is an opportunity to make up some positions, especially when trucks start drifting up to the high side. You can put yourself in the middle and keep them there on that third line. You are undoubtedly going to either get by them or they may bounce off the wall and wreck you. But one of those two will probably happen.
ICR says it's time to go. Jan backed up that outside line and left a truck length gap for Brantley Gainey to get into. Gainey moved right up into position. And so now Gainey is third on the outside with his teammate right in touch with him. So that will promote Zach Lockett up 1 on the order on the bottom line. Haven't said Zach Lockett's name yet tonight. He's still looking for that first win. He's got an exhibition victory at the iRacing Super Speedway. Not exactly apples to apples, but who knows at the end of this one.
The largest super speedway versus the smallest super speedway. Here's a good look at Luke Peterson. Still up here on the front row, making it look good. I mean, this is just where you want to be. You want to have everybody behind you. Only really a couple of people can ruin your race as long as you're on this front row. And chances are that, I mean, don't want to say this too loud, but chances are slim that that's going to happen, especially at this stage in the race. So maybe I should have whispered.
No, we've been around the block enough to know what the deal is here. Garrett Rainey got Luke Peterson clear down.
Oh, Jan to the wall!
Jan in the wall, and Brody Gunter now stacked up. They're going to be
Gunter,
3 wide.
Yep, able to get underneath. Now Lockett's going to jump to the top side.
That top line was going to be in trouble if somebody didn't
Jan
move
to
up
the wall
there.
again.
Yeah.
Now John Kay will get by. Kyle Zittel got by.
And Garrett Rainey is through to the lead now. Lockett is pushing Brantley Gainey.
Paul Ellison also got through. Look at this. Lockett looking like he made a great decision there. All of a sudden, he's second in line on the top, pushing a previous Atlanta winner and Brantley Gainey. And Gainey is cleared to go to the bottom.
Well,
But
there
he
was no
won't take
doubt
it.
who the best non-chaser was last season. It was Joshua Monachek. This season, I think it's a toss-up between Gainey and Rainey. It would serve us quite well that they're both running up at the front of this field, but Lockett pushing Brantley Gainey through to the lead here at Atlanta.
I think we're really going to see the top side start to come to form here. I think tires, it's going to be tough to carry all the speed on the bottom the way the tires are going to start to fade. However, you have to be careful because if you push them too hard on the top side, you'll find yourself in the wall, just like the 5 of Jan Van Leer did a few laps ago. You see drivers starting to drift up towards that green and yellow wall. Gunter and Ellison right up to it.
Yeah, we're probably about 20 to 25 laps away from green flag pit stops, but my line of thinking is we're not going to make it there. These guys are all over the place already. That's not a knock on them. That's the circumstances that they're working against here. Hello to Brian Kay hanging out with us here. As, John slowly but surely has picked his way up now with all the things happening around him. Up to the 7th position currently, 4th in line on the top side.
Here's a look at Josh Monachek running the camera for us here as well, here in the 60. He has, I mean, he's up some positions, but he's fallen a little bit from where he once was. But he's looking somewhat content to just kind of let this first run come to him. I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea. It is going to be close on fuel here. If these drivers can make it 55 laps, they're basically going to be able to narrowly break this race into a one-stop race. But
And not very comfortably.
no, not at all. And if that ever-looming green-white checkered comes out at the end, they may not have enough for it.
What is going to help this fuel number is the fact that the handling is definitely going away on these trucks. A lot more off-throttle time, especially for the drivers further back in the pack. They'll be able to save a little bit of fuel. Paul Ellison really backing up. What's left of this top line opens it up now for Peterson and Palumbo to abandon ship down low. And look at this bottom line tumble backwards to Matt Schlosser.
Yeah,
It'll now be Brody Gunter's turn to lead.
And John Kay, I mean, he worked his way from back outside the top 10 to inside the top 5 in just a matter of 8 to 10 laps or so. That is very difficult to do here. And they're using that top line to do it. It is just getting really tough to run the bottom here and carry speed.
We got lap traffic ahead. Tyler Logan. We'll see where they catch him and what Logan does when they do. He says he's going to stay on the high side. It's going to be tight.
It is going to be very tight. I mean, you can see, especially Gunter here on the front on these tires, the way they are, he's drifting up towards the wall quite a bit. He's able to get a better arc here through turns 1 and 2. But, I mean, in turns 3 and 4, it is tough sledding there, trying to carry speed on the top side. You kind of almost have to get out of the throttle a little bit. Kind of hold my breath here, waiting for him to get to Bergert. Taking him a little longer than we expected. I honestly, best case scenario is they get to him in the quad oval, but it doesn't look like that is going to be the case.
Boy, drivers are just changing lanes so often. John Kay, after all that work on the top side, now is jumping down low. Jan Van Leer did the same a couple laps ago.
Honestly, I think part of it is this lap truck. I don't think you want to be on the top side when you're trying to get through on this lap truck here. And Gunter nearly clear as Tyler Logan able to keep it off the wall. Great driving there from the 98.
Yeah, and Logan doesn't have any damage, so now that he is in the draft, he might be able to catch pace here, or keep pace, rather. Problem is now he's still hung out 3 wide, and
Garrett
Rainey going to let Peterson go through.
Yeah, and Rainey was down on the apron there for a moment. You do not want to be there.
So that's the good news for Tyler Logan is, well, Brian Mitchell's a lap down. I was going to say he'll be the lucky dog, but also not sure it would matter because Logan is now 5 laps down. So Gunter and Gainey leading the way here at Atlanta. It's Lockett and Zittel behind. John Kay and Luke Peterson, top 6. All working together, chasing pit stops here in 10 to 15 laps time if we stay green, and that is a fairly large-sized if, I would say. Although we do have quite a bit of space up at the front of this field now, but at some point they're all going to bunch back together before pit stops, and it could all go awry then.
Yeah, you can see in the middle of the pack here, they're fairly spread out. I want to point out something here that Jan Van Leer, I mean, he made a very small mistake just catching a piece of the wall that kind of snowballed, which is very easy to do, but that one mistake put him way outside of the top 10, and he is just now, 20 laps later, getting himself to a top 10 position. I mean, your race can just change so quickly, and it doesn't take much of a mistake. So you have to know when to go for it, when not to, and you have to be careful of not making just even the smallest little mistake. It could send you backwards for quite some time.
Oh, Gunter going to make it 3 wide as Gainey's into the wall, and he just barely keeps it out of the right door there, the 0-1. Gainey going the wrong direction, and he's not out of the woods yet.
Yeah, he's going to be stuck here in the 3rd lane, really tight there off of 2. He's hoping to be able to get in behind Peterson here, I'm sure.
Well, Rainey was leaving space on the bottom for Peterson, but Peterson is full steam ahead, and now Gainey's into the wall. Oh, they might be 4 wide headed into the tri-oval. Jan is going to pull the parachute and not force the issue there.
Yeah, that's a teammate looking out for another teammate there. Jan trying to get Brantley back into it here.
Either of those two could win it, but you have to be on the playing field to get it done at the end, and that was a good team preservation move. Now they could drop back and pick up Cole Maxwell. Kyle Zittel with the nose out ahead currently. He'll fight Gunter to lead a lap. You can tell pit stops are coming soon because most of everybody's down on the bottom of the track taking the short way around.
Oh, man, Rainey dove it down onto the red line and then started drifting up the racetrack. I mean, those are the types of moves that if you have somebody up next to you, that could be detrimental. Luckily, there was nobody there.
We are for sure 10 laps away from pit stops. They could happen sooner.
If they do end up having to happen sooner, the strategy has been blown wide open in this thing. I mean, this is a big deal whether they can make it to that number or not.
Chasing lap 55, not only for the fuel number, which is the halfway mark of this race, but also for the bonus points. For the chase for the Nathan Reynolds Cup, things are fairly tight and on the top of the leaderboard right now. Matt Schlosser running in 8th, so he's got some points headed his way. If he can hold on for another few laps. I'll tell you this much, I'm looking out my window. I'm hoping I'm going to be here for the end of this race. It's awfully dark outside for being 7:50.
Gunter has been able to stay out in front of both lanes here for the last few laps, as everybody behind him struggling to keep it in their lane and keep the momentum rolling. Kyle Zittel doing a nice job here on the top side. Luke Peterson getting himself back into the top 5 here. Peterson hasn't left the front 3 rows all night. The other thing to worry about here is if these drivers really are that close to making it on lap 55, are they all going to have to come down pit road together at that point? I mean, if they do, that could be an absolute melee with 2 lanes of traffic trying to dive down into turn 3. Haven't heard any call-outs over the radio. A lot of these drivers probably trying to figure out if they can make it, and if they can, do they try and stretch it 1 or 2 more?
The one thing you really don't want is for there to be a wreck when everybody has to pit, and then you have to either take a penalty to pit under caution or run the chance of running out of fuel under caution and have to tow back to the pits. Lot to be worried about here. None of this is easy.
Yeah, and what could be really beneficial here as well is if you get 2 or 3 teammates together to come down pit road and do an undercut. I mean, the tire wear is big enough here that you would be able to get an advantage, and track position is huge here at this racetrack. So if you can try and get that undercut in, I think that is a smart idea as well. Lots of variables here.
Schlosser thought about making a move on Garrett Rainey, sent it underneath that red and white line, which is legal in the tri-oval. So I thought better of it and pulled it back. Still no activity over the radio through the text chat. These drivers are still riding. If we can make it to lap 56, then it is a true one-stopper and the points will have been paid out. We don't have to worry about any of that. There's Zittel into the wall. From the lead, he is going to tumble back through the running order. Brantley Gainey catches a piece of the wall as well, trying to woe up. And that has really fragmented the front of this field. John Kay is going to try and take advantage here. He'll move up to the top side in front of Luke Peterson. This field is now also catching Brian Mitchell.
Schlosser going to go down onto the apron once again.
He wants it.
He wants it, but he needs to be careful. I know somebody that tried that move at Michigan just a couple of weeks ago, and it certainly did not work out.
So Brian Mitchell will elect to come down pit road to stay out of the way of the leaders. About Josh Freed, you mentioned we had him for one lap of the opening chase race. And then we've not seen him for the last couple weeks, but he's back here tonight. Not eligible to win the championship anymore. But he's certainly eligible to win, and he has picked his way through this field quite nicely.
Schlosser moving all over the racetrack.
This is the money lap right here.
Trying to make something happen. Like you said, points are going to be paid out. Kay's got a good run on the top side here.
And this is big time for
contact!
John Kay.
Brody Gunter
Gunter back up
sideways.
into the field. Oh, and Paul Ellison hits him hard.
And everybody trying to get slowed down and get through. They don't.
Oh.
I think that may have been, wasn't RJ. I think it was Tyler Bergert that got hard back into the field there. We'll go back and take a look. I don't know if maybe Kay got loose and went down the racetrack into Gunter, or maybe it was the opposite. Maybe Gunter moved up into Kay, or maybe they just came together.
There's a chance that maybe Luke Peterson made contact with either Kay or Lockett and set that into motion as well. They were all right there.
Well, let's take a look. This is Kay on the top side. He's got a good run here out of turn 4. And they're going to try and cut the racetrack a little bit here coming down. Oh, and yeah, it looks like Brody is trying to get a nice straight exit here towards the line. Kay is kind of coming down the racetrack a little bit, and I don't think Peterson got into Kay here until the contact with Gunter. I think that was just Kay and Gunter coming together. Luckily for Kay, he's actually able to keep it on the racing surface. But Gunter was not so lucky. He spins right in front of the field. And Ellison just was carrying too much speed, could not get that truck turned down to the bottom. And then you're going to see Bergert pile into Gunter there as well as they came sliding down the racetrack. Let's take one more look here, and let's go on board with Kay, see what he was dealing with. I mean, Kay didn't really turn down the racetrack much. I mean, the quad oval is just a weird spot. I think he was just trying to really kind of crowd the bottom line, and Gunter slid up just a little bit. I mean, the contact wasn't extremely hard by any means, but it was enough to get Gunter all upset and sideways. Take one more look from Gunter's point of view. And from Gunter's point of view, it looks like John Kay kind of comes down. So I think it's safe to say that was just a racing deal, both of them coming together.
Well, despite all that, John Kay won the stage, so he gets some bonus points. Very weird thing just happened where the pit lane opened before the field had caught the pace truck, and nobody came down pit road. They all elected to come around the next lap, but pit road was closed. So every single driver in the field just got a black flag except for Tyler Bergert. But, of course, they've all been cleared, and we're going to go an extra lap under caution here to get everything figured out. Eric Breeding has just lagged out of the race. And unfortunately for Brody Gunter, he made it to pit road and I think had something happen. Ducked into a random pit stall very quickly and had to tow back into his stall. So that might be the end of his race, and it was already going to be a difficult uphill battle for him to fight his way back into the championship next week at Homestead, Miami. But certainly this will be nails being driven into the coffin for driver 01 after having to miss Bristol. Well, I'm going to do a very Midwest thing here very quick and go mute for this lap under caution and take a look out my window to make sure I'm not about to get thwacked by a tornado.
I think they have tornado sirens for that, but I hear you.
I've got soundproof headphones on.
Well, we're going to continue to make our way around the racetrack here. What is possible, this kind of takes the fuel number question out of it. We've gone past lap 55 before they came down pit road. Now we've done quite a few pace laps, so there's no doubt that these drivers will be able to make it to the end on fuel. I think the real question is, do you try and save some tire and give up track position early? Or do you just try and keep the track position and just try and hang on to the rubber as best as you can later on?
No storm coming. We're all good. This field is trying to figure out how to get doubled up here because the computer's telling them to say single file. We'll give it a shot here. Coming to lap 61. The only concern going forward is keeping your truck in one piece, and that is not an easy thing to do. John K. Hayden Palumbo, green flag.
Wow, Kay leaves
Here's
the bottom
Lockett.
and, just gives it to Lockett here. Kay trying to get lined up with some teammates.
Well, Peterson thought about making a move down low, but Josh Freed is closing with a huge head of steam with Matt Schlosser in tow.
Freed
Roman
gonna be
goes
able
for the
we're
block.
3 wide.
Oh,
Freed.
boy.
Freed, a lot of momentum, but he loses the nose of the truck a bit there. He'll be able to get back down in front of the 2.
So Gainey led laps earlier. Now it's Steve Roman's turn to be up front. The two Atlanta winners previously is Jan Van Leer hit the wall and stuck. That thing went from 170 down to 55. And he is plummeted through the field with, I would imagine, major damage, if not a meatball, on truck number 5.
Whoa, Schlosser tries to get down in front of Zittel. It's not there. Has to make an evasive maneuver to get back up in front of John Kay. I mean, things are getting pretty dicey. Trying to get as much track position as possible. You've seen, you've seen John Kay kind of go backwards here a little bit as he dives down in front of Paul Sargent. Tommy, I don't know. You may have still been out when I posed the question. Is there any part of you that tries to save tire here and give up a little track position, or do you think track position is too much of a key here to even think about trying to attempt that?
It's so weird to even think about, but I mean, it's absolutely necessary here. Just if you were running the 2008 Atlanta, you would be, finding ways to try and keep pace and put yourself in the rough vicinity of where you want to be and keep yourself out of danger. But certainly, you're going to need any sort of stability at the end of this race. It's not going to be easy to come by. You're definitely going to have to work for it.
Big time. I think, man, I just feel like it would be such an advantage to have better rubber and be able to actually run that third lane, something that most of the drivers that are kind of pushing it just won't be able to do. It's a tough scenario.
That's the joy of it, though, for us, not for the drivers.
Yeah, I mean, the bad thing is you have to try and figure all this out while you're going 180, 190 miles an hour. And
is that all?
I mean, there's just I shouldn't say there's no time to think, but there's very little time to think. You try and figure out the strategy. I mean, we get to sit up here and talk about it for laps on end, but they have to make that decision within about, 90 seconds. They have to figure out which way they're going, and they have to figure it out quick.
Well, there's quite a few drivers that are thinking ahead to next week. It's Homestead Miami Speedway, where we will crown a champion in the Venom Truck Series for the 9th season. A couple of drivers in it for what could be their very first championship in league history. But no Andy Poliski here tonight. Really, it's John Kay versus the world. Kay looking to go back-to-back. But 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, like usual, from Homestead Miami Speedway. Next week, it's going to be a good one, to say the least. So to update Jan Van Leer, he didn't have a meatball flag, but he is definitely struggling to keep pace. He's dropped back to Paul Ellison and Tyler Bergert, who both have some damage as well.
Yeah, I want to try and see if we can figure out what happened here. Might not have another opportunity. Let's go and search here for a moment. As you see, Rainey moves up the racetrack just a bit. Looks like Jan's trying to get down on the bottom. Oh. And Jan goes for a pass on the top. And Rainey moves up there. It's like Rainey didn't even realize that he was there.
And that's something to the effect of what Rainey said over the radio. He said, I didn't even know you were up there. I thought I was in my own pocket. So it is the top 17 for now that are in touch with the lead pack. RJ Starcevic is flirting with being too far back here. But everybody else is on it. Oh, Freed right on the door of Roman there. And I mean, it's only been not even 20 laps since we restarted, and these drivers are already starting to look a little wobbly here.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we saw at the beginning of the race. It was only like 11 or 12 laps, and they were already starting to get a little bit out of shape. I mean, if they're getting out of shape...
loses Schlosser to the top side.
If they're getting out of shape this early, I mean, when they start really trying to fight for positions at the end of this thing would tend to go. I mean, it's you're going to have almost nothing to work with. It will get very difficult. You're going to have to make some moves you just don't want to make, but You kind of have to if you're going to make something happen. Oh, Matichek up in front of Palumbo. That was a bold one for the 60, but he makes it work.
I mean, Matichek and some drivers around him in the point standings need bold moves. They need not just good finishes. I mean, Matichek, Lockett, they need a win tonight. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts at this point.
Yeah, they need a win, and they need to hope that some bad fortune befalls their comrades as well.
Well, they are certainly doing what they need to do to try and take control of their own destiny. Penultimate round of the championship. Matichek down in 7th in the standings. Lockett down in 8th. Say, if they finish where they are now, they'll have a mathematical window to the championship next week, but certainly not a realistic one. So they need to grab that P1 here tonight, and they're both very well capable of doing that and in good positions currently.
Man, seeing Josh Freed run up in the lead here, it's just a shame that he wasn't able to make all the races for the chase. Would have really liked to have seen what the 39 could have pulled off.
Had a great regular season, both on and off the track. Of course, became a new dad and didn't miss a regular season race, but as soon as the chase rolled around, I think probably dadding took priority. Just happy we could get him when we can get him now. So it's lap 80. We'll be right around 30 laps to go when we get back to the stripe here. I mean, it's not easy to make moves, especially smart ones. The apron does add a little bit of an element of choice. But if you're a driver that is either riding by choice at the back of the field or stuck, when do you make your move and how do you do it?
I mean, this is one of those racetracks that you almost can't even plan the move. I mean, if you're going to take a shot, you either have to know it's going to work or you have to know that your race might just be over. I mean, if you try and make a move to the middle, it's either going to work out great or you're going to plummet through the field, and same with the move to the apron. I mean, it's these risks are much more risky here than they would be at a Daytona or a Talladega. You're almost better off just trying to see what comes to you, and then maybe in the last couple of laps try some daring moves and hope that you don't fall too far if it doesn't work out. But I mean, there's very little in your control here as Lockett gets down way onto the apron. Gainey is going to get put in the middle. They're 3 wide coming off of 2. And, wow, Gainey actually able to clear Lockett there on the bottom. So, Gainey to
Schlosser,
third in line on the bottom as Schlosser pulls down to the bottom to take the lead.
I think the other thing to keep track of as well, right now with 17 drivers, I think there's enough energy in both lines that you can make your way forward if you strategize. As Gainey and Freed nearly getting crossed up there. But if we have one crash that takes out maybe 5 or 6 drivers, which certainly, clock's ticking on that, I mean, it's going to be harder and harder to get a line going, and you're just going to have to take what you can get.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to get a line going, at least at a much quicker rate of speed than the other line, although you do see the top side starting to kind of inch out ahead of that bottom line here for a moment. But, I mean, Schlosser just kind of did exactly what we were talking about. He saw the opportunity. He had to seize the opportunity when it came, but that wasn't something that he planned. It just kind of came to him. He took advantage of it. That's kind of how you have to approach this here.
There's 2 more drivers out of the pack as Gary Clark and Paul Sargent just got tangled together, but they don't crash, but they are not in the lead pack anymore. And as a result, Maxwell and RJ Starcevic also are losing the draft. So we're down to the top 13 in touch with the leaders currently.
I want folks to pay attention to how much room Vroman is leaving between himself and Schlosser, as we get further into this race, that hole will be filled if he leaves it there, I can assure you.
Yes, it definitely will. Kyle Zittel will be the man to do it, and he is right there. Maxwell and Starcevic have caught back
Whoa,
up.
Freed really loose on the bottom. Gainey has to back out of it. This should give a big surge of momentum to Zittel and Vroman on the top here.
Not loving what I'm seeing in terms of the survival rate here. We're already shifting around quite a bit.
And now we've switched over to laps to go there on the top left-hand corner. 24 to go this time by.
So Maxwell, Starcevic, and Clark have all caught back up to the lead pack, so there's 16 up front. We do have a couple of lap trucks ahead. We'll probably catch them within the next 5 to 10. And that would be Eric Breeding and Brody Gunter. And they're both already multiple laps down, so they shouldn't put up much of a fight here. And that will be for another few laps, at least. Not a whole lot of teammates here together. Really, Palumbo and Peterson are the only two that are in touch with one another right now. And they're kind of boxed out of being able to go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, we had a couple of flurries of things that happened there all at one time, and now things have kind of settled for 2 or 3 laps. Undoubtedly, they will come back and we'll get some jabs and hooks and uppercuts here again.
Now, technically, Freed and Schlosser are not teammates, but they are certainly working together. Schlosser operated the team that Freed worked for before he decided to be the lone wolf here this season.
If he wins a championship, he may never go back to a team.
I think you're probably right, unfortunately. Schlosser and Vroman have led the majority of this green flag run thus far.
Vroman's doing a really good job on the top side here, I must admit. It is tough, especially when you get further into this run, to run that top line smoothly. He hasn't got up into the wall as he drifts up. Kyle Zittel going to fill in the middle. This is what we spoke about.
You called it. Zittel is there, and he's through. Matichek is there now as well, and Vroman is moving backwards in a hurry.
Yeah, he'll be able to pull in behind Matichek. Now Zittel finds himself in the front row. Matichek might be in a great position come the end of this one.
Yes. Definitely so. Schlosser going to have to be on his tiptoes here. As Freed washes up the track, nearly collects the left door of Joshua Matichek. Brody Gunter is out of this race. That leaves Eric Breeding all alone. Only half a straightaway ahead of the drivers coming up to him here in the lead pack. So Breeding will be ingested here shortly.
Now
there's
Zittel
Zittel into the
drifts
wall.
way up. Matichek's going to fill the middle. Oh, and they
that's
make big
time
contact.
problems. Hard shot for Zittel into the wall. I cannot believe that didn't turn Matichek right hook into the wall, right in front of the whole field. So everybody's scrambling now to get
Zittel
back.
still on this
to
third
the
lane. And he's into the
Freed.
wall again.
Freed into the door of Matichek there. These drivers have lost the handle. Even
This
with
is going to
full
blow
shade
things
around the track.
Yeah, this is going to blow things wide open. Drivers are going to start getting antsy here at this point with all of the activity going on around them.
Palumbo making moves. He's going to force the issue. 3 wide to the inside of Roman. Not going to make it stick, though. But Palumbo's still in a good spot here. Third on the outside line now with a teammate behind him.
Now it'll be up to Josh Matacek to not get too high in turns 3 and 4. That is where the moves have been made so far.
Schlosser doing what he can to try and side draft. Eric Breeding pulls down pit road, so no more lap traffic concerns.
Oh, Peyton Palumbo going to try and go to the outside of Roman. Not quite there.
Yeah, Hayden wants to go, but he does not have a way through right now. Peterson can't quite get to the bumper either.
Palumbo is a very aggressive driver. I mean, with not much space to operate, he is not afraid to put his truck in a vulnerable position.
The only driver whose name we've not said here tonight thus far is Austin Holyfield. He's just moved into the top 10. So he's playing the long game.
If things go belly up, that might not be a bad spot to be.
No, definitely not.
So 3 wide, a little bit further back. Oh, that's Pascal Samar. Nearly takes out Sargent, but we're still going straight.
As Little just got up into the wall again. He's struggling massively now with the aero damage on the right side of this truck.
One driver that we thought might try and save some tire and has been nowhere to be found. That is John Kay in the 2. He is buried in the pack here.
Yeah, he really has been running 10th to 12th this entire run. As Froman giving a shove to Matacek right as Fried got into the back of Schlosser, they nearly zigged and zagged into one another.
With Schlosser up here in the lead, John Kay's got to feel like he is really running out of time.
Well, there's a reason why he's feeling that. It's because he is running out of time.
Not that it would be game over, but it would certainly be much more difficult heading into the championship week. Should Schlosser finish here, even in the top 3, and Kay stay where he's at.
Winning the stage helped for Kay. For the second week in a row, he was dealt some damage while battling for the lead. That's what really hampered him at Watkins Glen, come to find out. First lap contact with Joshua Matacek.
Here we go.
10 laps to go. Oh, Fried way up the track. Gainey's going to try and plug the hole.
He is going to plug it. Fried stuck in the middle. Boy, this is really going to mess up this outside line.
And Peterson takes Palumbo. He moves on his teammate. Puts him on the outside at 3 wide. Rainey does the same. Palumbo's into the wall. A total team collapse there from the Alabama gang, and Palumbo losing valuable track position. He's still not even up to speed. He might lose the draft.
There are no teammates here at this point. That's Luke Peterson saying, I have to get this position because I am also running out of time on Matt Schlosser.
Eight to go. John Kay's moved up to the top side. You're right, though. It's so hard to think ahead while you're thinking in real time about what's happening all around you.
I mean, things just
Especially
happen
here.
so quick. Yeah, things happen quickly, and you can almost count on mistakes being made in front of you. This isn't a Talladega or Daytona where everybody can pretty much hold a good straight line. That is not the case here. You have to count on people getting out of shape in front of you and pouncing.
Only one caution so far. This race hasn't even crossed the hour mark yet. It has happened fast. It's nearly over. Monacek in control of the outside line. Schlosser with control on the inside. 2 lap trucks coming up. It'll be Paul Ellison and Jan Van Leer, and they are both on the lead lap. Well, Paul Ellison says he's going to pit this time, so it'll be up to Jan. As the leaders approach very quickly.
Oh, there's a driver in the wall. I believe that was Starcevic. It was. He's going to keep it on the top here. Still rolling.
Jan going to be caught in the quad oval. Is going to stay to the top side.
That's a decent place to be caught here.
Contact
At
between
least for the
Kyle Zittel
leaders.
and Pascal Samard. Zittel. Oh, no, and he right hooks Paul Sargent, and the caution is out. Zittel was stuck in the middle of 3 wide with Sargent down low and Samard up high. And actually, that was Cole Maxwell, not Kyle Zittel. Similarly, color-schemed trucks. Either way, Sargent ends up on his side. And we're under caution for the second time. And are going to be knocking on the door of overtime here.
Oh, man. And do you come down and take tires?
Oh, boy. I don't think so, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised either way. I would probably say no.
All right. Oh, man, that is a massive shot. Let's back it up and take another look. Looks like Samar just doesn't get a very good run off of 4 here. Maxwell takes it to the middle. Boy, they just about came together right there in the quad oval. Oh, and then it looks like Sargent comes up the racetrack a little bit on entry, which we see time and time again on these older tires. Right across the nose of Maxwell there. Wasn't much room for them to operate. There you have it. Okay, so majority
At
of
the
the field
time of
stays
caution, Joshua Monacek was the race leader.
out. Wow, so Monacek is going to be able to take the bottom here. I got to admit, though, on older tires, I think you're going to get a much better run off the top. He's going to have to count on protecting both lines here.
Oh, boy.
And I know he's not afraid to do it.
I think we're going to dip 1 lap over the limit here, so this should be our first attempt at a green-white checkered. We've got 3 at our disposal, should we need them. And we very well might need them. I think the other thing that we don't see here at the regular super speedways, by the end of the second lap, you're still really not 100% up to speed yet. Now, does that make the driver playing defense more vulnerable or more secure, do you think?
I think it makes him more vulnerable. But it depends on if he has somebody that kind of helps a little bit or not. I mean, if he gets totally left out, he's in trouble. But if he has 1 truck stay with him, I think he's okay.
Joshua Monacek wants the top.
Oh, interesting. Smart lad here in the 60.
You know, I try to teach a thing or two about sim racing through osmosis, and not be from what I say on Thursday nights, but what he learns from the actually good drivers that he has to watch.
Well, first truck that is not horribly damaged with fresh tires is Kyle Zittel. He will restart in 13th.
I think Zittel's going to need a caution, but it could very well pay off for him if he gets it and stays out of it.
He'll definitely need a caution. He's just going to have to send it in the 3rd lane, I think, and hope that everybody just doesn't have much left.
Here we go. A championship could very well hang in the balance here. Joshua Monacek needs to win this race. Matt Schlosser needs to finish. They are on the front row, coming to our first of a potential 3 overtime attempts here at Atlanta. Back to the restart zone. We're green. 2 to go. Not a whole lot of cohesion here on the top side. The bottom is a little bit more formed up. But can they get cleared down low with Schlosser and Vroman paired up?
Took Gainey a long time to get to Monacek. Schlosser with a big run.
Oh, Peterson going to send it up the middle, 3 wide.
Oh, boy.
Little bumper tag there with Freed.
Oh, no, Gainey gets turned.
Caution is out.
And
Peterson into the wall.
takes hard damage as well.
And Schlosser and Vroman threw on Joshua Monacek at the time of the caution, so the 400 is back in control. And for the second time this chase, Brantley Gainey inside the top 5 on the 2 to go lap, and it ends up in the wall.
Well,
yeah, I think that could have been worse, but we were expecting that.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I thought it was a good idea for Monacek to take the top, but he had to protect the lanes, and he just didn't. He didn't pull down in front of Schlosser, just kind of let him have it, and see Schlosser able to take control of the field here. Monacek actually has to start behind Schlosser now. Let's take another look. Let's watch Peterson shove it in the middle in between Freed and Gainey. And Lockett is there as well. And then Peterson drifts up just a little bit. Gainey's trying to pinch down. Very slight contact there. Oh, and Peterson and Kay actually got together as well. Oh, man, Lockett took a hard shot to the outside wall. Yeah, I mean, those are the moves that kind of have to be made to make up any sort of position here at Atlanta, unfortunately. See Gainey still in, trying to get some damage fixed. He'll be able to stay on the lead lap, but is not going to be the finish that he was certainly looking for.
So sorry to Lindsey G in the chat hanging out with us, and that's been the story of the not just the chase, but really the few weeks before the chase as well for Brantley Gainey. Run incredibly well and does not have the finishes to show for it. Even in this race by itself, Gainey was leading in the wall, drove all the way back through the field, and now is still not going to get the result, save for a final lap free-for-all, which is definitely incoming. But back to the front of this field, it's green-white checkered attempt number 2. Matt Schlosser will elect the inside, which is interesting. Not because the outside line didn't work particularly well for Joshua Monacek last time, but he's got Josh Freed up there on the top side, and he is not going to go with him. So Monacek now will have to work with the driver that he is trying to fight for the championship against. Luke Peterson is third there on the inside line. John Kay is third on the outside line. Oh, boy. The sun is out. But who will the sun be shining on in about 3.08 miles time? That's if we can see the white flag. Matt Schlosser in control, down low. Steve Vroman, already a winner here at Atlanta back in season number 5. On on the outside of the front row. Matichek and Freed on row 2. 2 to go.
Not
Big
a
jump
great
for
start on the
Schlosser.
bottom.
It's not really what you want here.
John
But
Kay able to fill the hole.
the help on the top side is not coming either, with Kay moving down low. Momentum is shifted back to the bottom. Schlosser will have the opportunity to block if he wants it, as Freed is pushing with all his might. Steve Roman. Even Stevens
Luke
into
Peterson
threes.
way out of shape.
Peterson with the damage, just trying to hang on. We should see the white flag this time. There's Matichek down
we
low
are
below
four
the apron.
wide.
4 wide.
Oh, no.
Rainey into Freed. Vroman with control right now. Matichek has the run down low. They touch.
Kyle Zittel on fresher
Zittel!
tires. Just trying to get to the middle, not able to do it.
Schlosser shuts the door. He just wants to bring it home, but Matichek needs the win. Vroman wants to win. To the stripe. They fan out. At the stripe, it's Vroman. Vroman by 11 one-thousandths of a second is back to victory lane after a dreadful season number 9. Vroman is back on the top step. Joshua Matichek will have to settle for second once again, and Matt Schlosser may have all but wrapped it up with a bronze here tonight. Kay and Zittel the top 5. We'll take a look at everything that happened there, but man, oh man, we got to give Steve some props here. He's turned it around in the last couple of weeks, but boy, he only had 2 top 10s before entering the chase all season long. Best finish of 4th before tonight. Well, we've rectified that. It's win number 5, and the party is back on at Broke Guy. And it's 2 in a row here at Atlanta as well. Oh, Joshua's going to be so... I know he's going to play it very cool in his interview, but he's going to be so bummed he didn't get that. All right, let's take a look at how that final couple of laps shook down there.
Let's take a look. Field coming to green. I mean, Schlosser does what he needs to do, but Matichek and Peterson did not get great starts here on the bottom. That allows John to dive right down in between Matichek and Peterson. That could have been by design from Peterson and Kay. Kind of takes a while for Vroman and Freed to get hooked up, but once they do, they get a great run down the backstretch here. Unfortunately, Peterson is going to lose it, but able to make the save down on the apron. And now we are 4 wide heading into turn number 1, and this just does not work. Rainey on the outside, up into the wall, down into Josh Freed. Kyle Zittel narrowly able to avoid, dives it down to the bottom. And then it's a 5-truck breakaway. Some contact between Matichek and Vroman there on exit of 2. Kyle Zittel tried to stuff it in the middle. The door closed on him. And coming across the line, Matichek and Kay got together just a little bit side to side, and I think that was enough for Steve Vroman to be able to edge out in front and take the victory. But damn, was it tight.
It was broke guy tight.
Some would say broke guy tight. That's right.
Amen. Well, we'll get a word in with your podium finishers here in just a moment as Steve Roman takes his 5th career Venom Truck Series victory and his 2nd in a row here at Atlanta Motor Speedway 22. We'll talk to him. We'll talk to Joshua Matacek, who will have to settle for 2nd by 11 one-thousandths of a second. Matt Schlosser, the championship leader. Oh boy, this one might be on ice. We'll have to wait to see the official numbers before we can confirm that. We'll talk to him here in a second. John Kay, though, did all that he could do to rally there late. He'll finish in 4th. Kyle Zittel in 5th. Hayden Palumbo will bring it home in 6th. Austin Holyfield will finish in the 7th position. That is his best finish of the season. I believe that's also where he finished Bristol Dirt at as well. Pascal Simard in the 8th position. That is definitely his best finish of the season. Nice run for him. RJ Starcevic, you know what? That was his best finish of the season, too, in the 9th position. Jan Van Leer, after all that, will bring it home with a top 10. Zach Lockett in 11th. Garrett Clark will finish in the 12th position. Nicely done for him. That is his best finish of the season. Paul Ellison in 13th. Brantley Gainey in 14th. Luke Peterson will round out the top 15. Garrett Rainey in 16th. Josh Freed is the last driver on the lead lap in P17. Brian Mitchell will finish in 18th. Tyler Logan in 19th. And Eric Breeding in 20th. I think Cole Maxwell retired after that crash, so he'll finish in 21st. Paul Sargent, 22nd. Brody Gunter and Tyler Bergers, all DNFs here at the bottom of the running order. So we will pull up your 3rd place finisher. It is Matt Schlosser. Led a lot of laps here tonight after scoring the pole, and will come away with the podium. Certainly the kind of night that you needed to have.
Yeah, this was definitely what I would have taken a million times over if it was offered to me before the race. So it was like nothing bad whatsoever about a top 3 on a drafting track. That's for sure.
I mean, in terms of the drafting tracks, are you the most in control you can possibly be here at Atlanta, or the least in control? Because it feels like you're really riding on the knife's edge either way.
Yeah, today, as the track got hot and we were getting sliding around a little bit, I felt like I had decent control of my destiny when I was leading there with 20 and 10 to go. I felt like if I could just make good corners and not slide too much, I could keep my position. That being said, I can't really imagine if you were in like 15th or 16th how you'd be able to make passes, but I don't know, guys might have been saving tires. I didn't try to save tires. I tried to just get clean air and hope that would save my tires, and definitely helped. And the cautions at the end, that made me feel helpless because I was like, I don't know what's going to happen here, but worked out okay. So I will take it for sure.
All right, Matt, what you got for your 2-clubber here?
Well, first of all, congrats on a good finish. I know that, with the points lead coming into today, a top 3 is certainly something that you're going to be happy with. But, you got a chance here, and I say a chance. You have a really good chance to take home the hardware for both the regular season and the Nathan Reynolds Cup. But you got one race in between you and tasting the victory of the championship here. What's the preparation going to be like going into next Tuesday?
Yeah, it's going to be probably a little bit nervous. Probably, I don't want to do anything too crazy from what I usually do and mess up any kind of rhythm that I usually try to have. So, I don't know what the points are. I think John Kay gains a few points on me. He won the stage, and we both led a lap. I got the pole, so I think he maybe just picked up 4 or 5 points or something on me. So it'll be close, and it honestly might be winner take all if it's within 4 or 5 points. So, and I don't even know where Luke is or anyone else. So, it'll just, once you get an idea of the points, try to make a plan for what the best way to maximize your chances are. But I have a feeling it's probably just going to be a straight up race. So it'll be a fun one, I think.
It's always fun at Homestead Miami Speedway. We'll look forward to that next week, and wish you well on your way to all of that preparation that you're going to have to do. But in the meantime, let's get some shout outs here.
Yeah, shout out to Venom and the admin team. Shout out to Turn 200. Shout out to my satellite teammates, 939. They were both giving me some great pushes tonight, Josh and Zach. So thanks to them. Congrats to Steve Roman. He drove a hell of a race, and happy for him. I think he won this the last Atlanta, so he's like the king of the, what's it called now? Echo Land?
Echo Park Speedway. Yeah, and it will never, we said it once already, it will never be called that again here on the channel, I promise.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a very cool name. But yeah, that's pretty much it for shout outs. So yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, partner. Best of luck in the week ahead, and we'll certainly talk to you one way or another next week at Homestead.
All right, thank you.
And I do want to leave with this. If anybody's going to tune out after that interview, Matt Foster certainly has not iced it. I kind of forgot that John Kay won the stage and then only finished one spot behind him. So the margin is 6 points right now. So if you take nothing else away from this post race, take that away. We will talk now to Joshua Matichek, who is finished in the runner-up spot by only 11 one-thousandths of a second. It was a tight one, but still a great result for you here tonight. Welcome back to the podium and welcome back to the booth.
It feels great to be back. I've missed it. I've not been up here as much as I should have this season, I feel like.
Certainly, I mean, especially compared to the electric run you were on at the end of last season, somewhat of a sophomore slump. But, I mean, this is your second podium this season. And in terms of a super speedway race, I mean, you ticked all the Matt and I's boxes. We didn't call out your name a whole lot there before that halfway break caution. And then from then on, I mean, you were a constant factor at the front of this field.
Yeah, going into the night, Bergert had an EOL to start, and Tyler Logan has been having some mega internet issues and hasn't made it through a race in a couple, which is unfortunate. So I just told him, I was like, look, why don't we just not qualify, start from the tail, let everybody get their racing out, and then after stage break, we just go. I'm not worried about stage points at this point. And it ended up working out. I know Austin finished, 7th? Very good run for him. Usual super speedway, we work with ICR. ICR had a couple of unfortunate mishaps. But I mean, I can't ask for more from my first time racing at Atlanta.
Matt, what you got here for a runner-up?
Yeah, congrats on a great finish here. Man, these restarts right here at the end were pretty tough. I mean, before we had that last caution come out, you started on the top side. I thought you were going to try and cover off Schlosser, but you kind of let him have the bottom there. What were your thoughts going into these final couple of restarts? And we saw some calamity back behind you. I'm sure you had to be worried about some of that creeping up to the front as well.
Yeah, definitely. So the restart choice to take the top, I know Steve was pushing me really good, but I also know that Brantley is a phenomenal pusher, and he was with us with ICR. So I took the top and got in front of him and tried to kind of lollygag on the start, not to get too far out in front. And I looked in my mirror down the backstretch, and I see Luke coming through the middle 3 wide. So I kind of moved down to the middle instead of the top line, and I don't know what happened. They lost it into the corner, and I just happened to be just a little bit behind Steve, so ended up restarting third. And at that point, I was like, who helps me? Who do I help? I don't want to help Saucer as much as I like the guy because he's the points leader. But at that point, it's just, it's every man for himself, even within the teams. You get to the 2 to go in the white, and you're just hall-tailing it. But I take pride in, not only having 2 podiums, but neither of them being wins, and still being 5th in points coming out of this race into the last race of the season. So, not the ideal season, but definitely through the midst of it was consistent enough to still, be in the top 5 rolling in with no wins and only 2 podiums.
And certainly there's every chance that you can move up those standings as well if you run well at Homestead next week. Who's to say you can't make it up to 4th or 3rd in the standings as well? So a lot to look forward to wrap up the season next week at Homestead Miami Speedway. Congrats on the runner-up here tonight, and let's get the shout-outs in as always.
Yeah, shout-outs as always to my wife, Bailey, for putting up with me. She got off of work late today, so I really haven't seen her very much today. Said hey, talked a little bit, and got right on. Shout out to my parents for always watching. To y'all putting on a phenomenal show, being up here on the booth on Thursday nights. I know how much goes into it. And sometimes, it is what it is. It's a long race, especially, the first stage, just kind of riding. But thanks to everybody. Hopefully we can not die next week.
Well, if you do well tomorrow, it'll be Matt interviewing you, but we'll definitely be talking to you on Thursday. So in the meantime, go rest up after this one, and we'll talk to you again either way pretty soon.
Thanks, guys.
Alrighty. It's time for the 5th time in his career, and for the 2nd time in a row here at the new Atlanta Motor Speedway, Steve Vroman is the man on the top of the box at the end of it all. Welcome back, and congratulations.
What's going on, guys? Thanks. Appreciate that. Definitely needed this win after the season we've been having here, so this feels really good.
Well, I was going to touch on that here in a minute, but you drove a fantastic race as always. You're always the guy, one of the guys that we look at here at the Super Speedways. But I think the big difference from a couple seasons ago to this season is that you have no teammates out on the track here tonight. Andy's not here. Jeremy sponsored the race, and he didn't even bother to show up. You had to go at it alone here tonight, but obviously you've got friends all around the track because you didn't have any problems finding your way to the front of this field.
Yeah, I felt kind of lonely out there, but maybe that's what I needed to win one of these super speedway races. Just kidding, though. The guys I was racing around was great. I got help there at the end from Matt, and then from John, that last little shove, I think, that got me past Josh just there for the win. So it was great racing with those guys. We all kept it clean, and that was a lot of fun there. There was the last 10 laps or so it was great.
Matt, what you got for the race winner?
Yeah, congrats on the big race win. It's always good to get one in here towards the end of the season, get yourself off of the season with some momentum. But I got to admit, I feel like Tommy always asks me when we come to a super speedway race, who are you looking at? And I feel like even though you've won tons of these things, your name flies under the radar. Should you be in the Venom Hall of Fame when it comes to super speedway racing at this point?
I like flying under the radar. That way they don't see it coming when I get up there.
And we'll touch on the point here as well, because we mentioned it during your burnouts here as well, the stat line. It's gotten better the last couple of weeks. You've certainly found your footing here in the chase, but boy, the first 15 weeks of the season were just it seemed like no luck. I know you missed a couple of races in there as well, but man, it was just a rotten start to the season.
It really was, and it wasn't. It was like I couldn't do anything right there throughout most of the season there, and then we got here towards the end, and luckily we was able to turn it around and get some good finishes here, and like you said, build some momentum there going into the off season. Hopefully we can keep that going for next year and finish it out good here at Homestead. We're looking for that one. We usually run pretty good there too, so looking forward to that.
Certainly, always good to have momentum at headed into Homestead. It's a tricky track. And we'll look forward to maybe talking to you one more time to round out season number 9 next week. But in the meantime, let's get some shout-outs in as usual.
Yeah, I want to say thanks to our sponsors, None of Your Beeswax Apiary, my teammates there at Broke Guy Racing, and of course Matt and John there for those shoves there at the end to get me across the line and make it happen there when I didn't have any extra help.
All righty, partner. Congratulations. Go celebrate. Go party hard. And we'll hope to talk to you again one more time in Homestead.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Always a good night when we get to talk to Steve Vroman as a race winner at the end of it all. 5th win of his Venom Truck Series career, and the first of a very difficult season for Driver 00. So way to persevere here tonight, especially without any teammates out on the track. We had 24 drivers on the grid. He had 23 friends out there on the track, but I mean, we saw multiple teammates take on their own teammates there at the end. It was every man for themselves, and it was Roman winning above all here tonight.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, and a couple of the drivers kind of touched on it that, those team alliances went out the window there. I mean, I think Josh said in the last couple of laps, I think for the last 20 laps, the team orders were kind of out the window, especially for those that are, in the championship looking to make their big moves, hoping to have a shot at it next week at Homestead. So, it was an interesting finish, no doubt. Interesting strategy throughout as well, especially with the caution coming out. No green flag pit stops. I'm sure that put a wrinkle in there that the drivers were, some of those drivers were really hoping for a green flag pit stop to try and separate themselves a little bit, I think. So all in all, great stuff here from the Venom Truck Series. As always, only one race left in the season, and the points are getting tighter at the top. And at the perfect time as well. You are not going to want to miss it next Tuesday night. Same time, same place on Turn 200 at Virtual Homestead Miami Speedway. Shout out to Bailey Marie Matacek cheering on her husband. Josh here with a great finish there in second. Shout out to Cole Maxwell. Andy Poliski here cheering on his teammate Steve Roman for the win. Lindsey G, unfortunately in the chat with some frustration there for Brantley, but he'll pick up his head and hopefully get a good finish there at Homestead to round out the season. Shout out to Brian K, Allie Hill cheering on John K, of course. Amy Ellison cheering on Papa Paul, number 55. And Lisa Kelly for Tyler Berger. And, of course, Robin Matacek. And Datacek was here as well, cheering on Josh. Great finish again there in second.
Well, let's give you the lay of the land in terms of the points. Joshua Matacek in fifth. Depending on how many drivers show up next week, he could be eliminated. But for now, mathematically still eligible. Fourth place is 25 back. That is Hayden Palumbo. Luke Peterson is 21 back in third, which sounds like a lot, but remember, John Kay was 22 back, headed into Kentucky last season and walked away with the title. So Palumbo and Peterson are in with a shot. John Kay did make up points on Matt Schlosser, so despite Schlosser's best efforts here tonight, he lost 4 markers between him and John Kay. So it is Schlosser v. Kay. And then I think Peterson, Palumbo, and Matacek are at ringside for now. It's a good old lumberjack match for the championship. But yeah, that is how things stand headed into Homestead next week. Again, that's a bit unofficial as they could tweak a couple things here and there depending on the post-race review. But that is fairly accurate to how it should look headed into Homestead Miami Speedway next week. A look at things coming up here on the channel. Tomorrow night, it is the Matt Williamson special at the Green Hell. Into the Nürburgring we go for the SRL Sports Car Championship presented by Purple Haze Auto Sport. 8:15 p.m. Eastern time for that one, and it's going to be a wild one to say the least. Very much looking forward to that. Thursday night, I'll be back on the call with the Max v CNC Home Designs Truck Series Chase kicking off from IRP at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Then we will wrap all the way back around to next Tuesday, where we will settle the Season 9 championship for the Venom Truck Series at the Homestead Miami Speedway at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll have the season end awards. We may have a schedule as well to reveal next week if all goes according to plan. Looking forward to all of that and sending off Season number 9 off in style ahead of our 10th season of the Venom Truck Series. Hard to believe. But that is all we got for you here tonight. Appreciate everybody that was hanging out with us. Thank you to the drivers of the Venom Truck Series and the admin team as well. And thank you, as always, to Mr. Matt Williamson. Until we meet again from Atlanta Motor Speedway, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long, and congratulations to Steve Roman, winner for the first time in Season number 9 for the 5th time in his Venom Truck Series career, and back-to-back at Atlanta. Have a good night, everybody. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.